Is Kraft Heinz losing huge amounts of business? Well, according to their most recent earnings call, yes. Their net sales fell 2.1%, which doesn't sound like much, but that's only $25.9 billion for the year. That's a crap ton of money. Now, what's interesting is their chief financial officer has narrowed down 4 brands that they feel are underperforming, and you will be shocked by these brands. We are talking Lunchables, Kraft Mayo, Kraft Mac and Cheese, and Capri Suns. So let's dissect these 4 real quick. So the first one, Lunchables. Okay. So you may have heard that there was a big little skedoodle about Lunchables in the public school lunch program. Yep. They were testing like crazy high for sodium, for saturated fat, like all the bad words. And so they basically voluntarily removed themselves from the school lunch program. That wasn't good for their image. So I'm sure that people hearing that in the news didn't want to go rush out and buy some Lunchables for their kids at the grocery store. So that one doesn't surprise me, but their plan is they are going to focus on expanding the brand into new occasions, which they didn't clarify what new occasions are, improving the perception of quality, and adding flavors that meet evolving consumer tastes.
I don't know. I don't understand any of that. Sounds like gobbledygook, all of it.
I know. So what? Like, are we going to have Easter version of Lunchables? Like, I'm thinking new occasions. Like,
you know what I miss? Do you know what I miss?
What?
Lunchables used to have, you know, the little like honey Dijon mustard packets. You squeeze it and it come out the middle of it. That was the best damn mustard. And guess what? It doesn't exist anywhere. It was only in that Lunchable. I haven't had it, and I just thought about it, and now it makes me mad.
So that's part of the quality perception. But all I'm saying is whatever you do, Kraft Heinz, do not team up with Boar's Head. Because after reading their sanitary reports, that is not how you get your quality standards up. But,
no.
You know, if you've ever looked, like, I don't know that anybody that's buying Lunchable for their kids are actually looking at the back of it and looking at the nutritional label going, yes, this is what I want to give to my kid. So that's going to be a hard hurdle to tackle there. And then, of course, adding flavors. I cannot remember the last time that I've seen a new Lunchables flavor. You know, you got your, you know, different lunch meats with cheese. That's standard. Yeah. Of course, you have the little pizzas. And then I do remember for a little while there, they had like almost like a little mini taco. They had, you know, a couple
different nachos. Nachos are things. So it comes with salsa and cheese. That's one of them, the kiddos' favorites.
And my kids don't like the cheese or the salsa, so they just eat the chips. Those are the most expensive tortilla chips on the planet, but they're teeny tiny and cute.
Mm-hmm. That part. They're adorbs.
They are adorbs. I wish I could just buy a bag of those chips. Okay, So the next brand is their Kraft mayonnaise. I'm not the one to comment on mayonnaise, but they did say that they are going to be introducing and bringing new flavors, and they mentioned pickle mayo, which had a successful rollout in the U.S. last year, which doesn't surprise me because pickle everything came out there for a while.
Yes. But also, isn't that almost ranch? Almost ranch.
Yeah,
or
no.
Just like
I have never in my
ranch.
mind said, oh, ranch, you know, the pickle mayo. I think of, I don't have to get another jar out of the refrigerator when I make potato salad.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one is their Kraft Mac and Cheese. Now, this is another one that's had some tizzies done on social media because there was this whole like, is it inflation? Is it changing serving sizes? Because people claimed that in the past you could serve 4 people out of a box of Kraft Mac and Cheese, but now you can only serve 2. They did actually adjust their serving like suggestions
Yeah.
as well as shrinkflation. So it's definitely both. But I'm not actually a huge fan of Kraft mac and cheese. Are you?
No, my husband for some reason really likes the color of it. I don't know why. Color
And
is where he hitches his wagon to mac and cheese, but like, I, it's
and
not
it
my
has a
favorite.
weird color to me. Like I could pick out Kraft mac and cheese because it's that like neon orange.
Yes,
And I don't
exactly.
care for that. It's kind of like
No,
Cheetos. It's like the powder that you get from Cheetos. They use.
that's a thing, by the way. Cheeto mac and
Okay.
cheese, but
Oh,
that's neither here nor there.
yeah. But so their plan for Kraft mac and cheese is they're going to do new flavors. Which,
Hmm.
by the way, every time I see a new flavor of Kraft mac and cheese, not just Kraft, it's like 72 cheese, extra creamier cheese. It's like, come on, get
Yeah,
an actual flavor in there.
yeah.
I mean, why has nobody come out with like a bacon mac and cheese?
I think that there's I think Velveeta might have years ago had
Yeah.
bacon mac and cheese, but you have to be careful because you don't want to include actual bacon because then it's soft and thick.
But
But
I did see one, and I don't remember what brand it is, that actually came out with a jalapeno mac and cheese. You
oh,
know, and like you're even talking about like the Cheeto mac and cheese. At least it was something. It was another
yeah,
option.
yeah.
Oh, let's make something innovative in mac and cheese. Instead of orange, let's make it white. Yeah. So
Natural
yeah, they're
color.
gonna do. Oh, they're gonna do new pack sizes. So instead of
Oh,
a 6-pack for $100, you're gonna get an 8-pack for 110. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the price is a big factor here.
well, and
Um,
pasta. They're going to do new pasta shapes, right?
yes, partnerships, and so I have to say that if you've ever bought unicorn mac and cheese, don't bother. It's just blobs. Once you
Yeah.
cook it, it is no longer unicorny.
It's just blobs.
It's just blah. And then I think it actually tasted worse in that shape versus like the elbow noodle shape.
Yeah.
The last brand is Capri Sun, and they stated that last year they launched a 64-ounce multi-serve bottle, as well as this year they are launching single-serve bottles that'll be available at grocery stores and convenience stores. So you no longer have to give your kid a squeezy pouch of death juice that can be squeezed all over your car. You can give them a little bottle with a lid that they can close.
If it's offered in one specific flavor, the kid for whatever loves the kiwi strawberry one. That is her Capri Sun flavor choice.
Well, I will
So,
say that I remember it being a big treat having Capri Suns as a kid. Okay,
yeah,
and I loved them because we didn't have them very often. My kids have gotten some because we've seen them on sale or markdown or whatever. We got a good price on them. And I tried one because my kid, obviously will never finish a whole pack because that's what kids do. And so I took a sip because I was like, oh, I'll just drink the rest. Oh my gosh, it was awful. Like no, it was like sugar water.
yeah. There's not a ton of flavor to them, which is wild.
Yeah.
Like there's not a ton
But
of
I remember
flavor.
as a kid, they actually tasted good.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
they were almost like addictive, you
They've
know?
degraded. They've degraded over the years. Like you don't have to use as much. The kids just see the packaging and that's it. That's enough. And I
Yeah.
think that they figured that out. A lot of companies probably figured that out and just dwindled it down to what makes them happy enough.
Well, I think Kraft Heinz's biggest issue is they have just kept pricing themselves up higher and higher and higher. So maybe a couple years ago, people were still going to be loyal to the Kraft brand.
Yeah.
But now that they're so expensive, I mean, I saw mayonnaise was like $8-10 a jar. That's
That's
ridiculous. And so
crazy.
I think people are more willing to now go buy store brand or just a less expensive premium brand.
Yeah.
So I don't even see that this is something that a new flavor is going to make up for. I think their prices are just so dang high that that's why they're not selling.
I think we're hitting a tipping point with a lot of brands as far as like what consumers are willing to pay and for the quantities they're willing to pay for it. Like you're going to hit a tipping point. You can only go, there's a limit to what people can afford. And I think with the way people are trying to cut corners and they're not like pay isn't equal to what the cost of living is. It just isn't. So like we knew we were going to hit a saturation point where it started to slide the other way. And maybe that's where we're at because
Well,
I think we're going to see more corporations struggling to meet that goal of,
I think that because of price, you make people less loyal because they
yeah.
can't afford it. And so they're more willing now to try other flavor, other options.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, you've always had Kraft Mac and Cheese and now you try not necessarily a store brand, but if you tried like an Annie's or something else that's
Velveeta or, yeah.
yeah, anything. I think it's just one of those where it's like, I'll just buy what's ever on sale. If
Yeah.
it's Kraft, it's Kraft. If it's not, I'm okay with that. Whereas before, you would just always wait and buy Kraft, Kraft, Kraft.
Right.
So I don't know that they're going to make a huge difference. But what I found interesting was the Kraft Heinz brand actually has a portfolio of over 200 different brands in 40 countries.
Ooh.
And they're basically narrowing it down that it's only these four brands and it's only in the US that's struggling. So I think overall they're going to be fine. Nothing's going to change at Kraft Heinz, but I do find
Right.
it funny that their most iconic brands are the ones that are struggling.
Yeah. It says a lot about consumer behaviors when your most, like, I would imagine those to be your most stable brands.
Exactly.
When your most stable brands are starting to suffer, you know, decreases in sales, you kind of need to look at the bigger picture on this one.
Yeah.
You
So
just,
tell us down below in the comments, have you ever been a Kraft Mayo, a Capri Sun, a Kraft Mac and Cheese, or Lunchables fan? And are you still being brand loyal or have you moved on to a different brand?